Hey y'all, happy Friday. Hope your guys' day is going well as it possibly can be. We've just got some quick corrections to do of some people that once again just say the wildest shit. And today will be Bullhorn Betty because, well, this is pretty easy to debunk. I'm working on another stream, Nick's stream from last night. I actually went back and pulled clips. Unlike, you guys know how I do things. So, like, when he says something, I'm going to go pull the clips of, well, actually, this was said here and here and here, but, that way. So, I'm working on that. But in the meantime, as I'm grabbing timestamps and clips for that, Bullhorn Betty dropped a video. So, we're going to take a quick look at how easy it is to do a little research. Hope you guys are all having a decent Friday. Hey, Revival. Hey, Kathy, Terry, Hindsight, Fairy Meadows, Lisa, Ginny's Mixed Media Journals, Snazzy. I am feeling a little bit better. Well, that's a lie. I'm in extreme pain still. For those of you that don't know, somebody asked me that last night and I didn't even catch it at the time. I had a procedure yesterday with some injections in my spine and my hip muscle buttocks area, and this one really, I don't know if it's because of the location or if it's because I was in a massive flare-up before I had it, but I'm having a real hard time. I slept 3 hours last night, couldn't get comfortable. It was miserable. So I've just been sitting here like grinding my teeth and in pain. So I was working on some other content that I'm going to lay out with clips, because there's one thing that I hope people can understand too with how I do stuff. I don't want to come out here and just tell you things, right? I want to have clips to show you, well, this was said here and this contradicts this. That kind of is what sets apart debunking misinformation and a review channel that just spews random rumors that they hear other people saying. There's a few of us that stick to, providing clips or timestamps or things of where you can find things that debunk these claims that people make. But there's majority of these people just say they're correcting misinformation and they just review stuff and add their commentary to it with no factual basis. Can't tell you where to find the clips, can't tell you exactly who said it or anything. And people run with that. Even people on this side get things wrong. I know, crazy, huh, that we get things wrong. People, when I say this side, the people who claim they're correcting misinformation do get things wrong because they don't go back and fact check their own things. They say, oh, well, I heard this and it was over here, but I'm going to show you of how misinformation flows so fast. Once again, using Beddy. It's, for me, people that claim that they're correcting misinformation oftentimes piss me off. And I get real irritated because they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. And they just spew shit that they've heard other people. They parrot other people. I watched Granny get parroted today already by somebody. And it's just like, ugh. It doesn't just happen to me. It happens to other channels too. It's quite frustrating. Anyways, there's my little rant for today. Dexter? No. Hey, Heather. Zoya, Leah Michelle, Rondi, Grammy's Place, Meg, Whispers in the Shadows, KNS, Pistol Annie, Pistol Amy, Loose Lucy, Happy Beach, I Smell BS, Hey Patty, Sample User. Huh? I'm confused on what that's. It's Petty AF. My name got fixed, but J for Justice dared someone, and I'm just that fickle. I'm not sure what that is about. Hey, Jilly. Hey, Socks, too. Hey, T. Hey, Kim, Trish, Tracy, Angie Wangie, Carla. I'm going to have to go inside. I'm cold. I'm shivering. I'm okay, you guys. It's just life. It's just life. Hey, Jennifer. I'm good. Y'all know. I'm good. I have another one coming up the beginning of December again. I'm doing series of them back to back again. And sometimes I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But I have drop foot again happening really bad. My doctor said I probably really overdid it when I was on the farm, but I'm going to live my life to the fullest and pay the repercussions in the end because you ain't going to keep me away from living my life. I've done that long enough. I'm definitely not the best factual channel. I just really try hard to not try to tell you guys what to think. I try to provide the information to debunk these things because that's important. Anybody can come out here and tell you anything, but when these people don't have any credibility because they're freaking liars and they parrot shit, they hurt those of us that really put time and energy into this, and they hurt our reputations by claiming that they do the same things as us when it's not even close. And I am kind of salty about some of it because some of these people I supported at one time. And it's an embarrassment to correcting misinformation to do what they do. Man, I'm probably on one today. Yes, it is, Steph. It is so blindly following is so dangerous. Hey, Lisa, Tinkerbug, Cynthia. I hope you guys know I'm not like saying I'm the best at this. It's just really irritating when people don't put any effort into learning what they're talking about. They blindly react to shit that they have no idea, and then they just throw some words in shit. It drives me nuts. And you can tell. You can tell. Hey, Wolfie. Hey, Fit and Curvy. Hey, Peppermint Tea, Nicole B, Candy Kitten. Oh, okay, sample user. I was like, what the hell? Hey, Lurker. Up to good. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in there. Kelly Dime. Yeah, I have a lot of issues. I have it's a lot. I don't even want to go into it because everybody has issues. Like all of us are dealing with medical issues, mental health issues, whatever the case may be, struggles of some sort. Please don't feel bad for me. I'm totally fine. I'll be fine. It's just a little bit of pain right now. A lot of pain, but I'll be okay in a couple days. Nothing I can't handle. Thank you guys for asking, but my struggles are no worse than anybody else's. In fact, they're very minor in comparison to a lot of people. So I appreciate you guys caring and the concern, but I have a fucked up back just like so many other people, and I have bursitis in my hip, and I have a disc sac that has no fluid in it, and all of the wonderful things of getting old and having a carpet inspecting job, aka used to pass out for no reason. Well, for a reason, but it did a lot of damage to my body. One of these days, I might share with you guys some of my medical journey and some of that stuff. Some of you guys have heard me talk about it a little bit, but I've never really sat down and laid it all out. It's a lot. It's just a lot. And I don't like talking about it because I survived it and I don't want to go back to that. Hey, 3M Farm. Hey, Jeffrey, MK, Shelly Joe. I know, Patty, I appreciate you guys so much for caring. I really do. Yeah, Catherine, isn't it funny to see people tout that as oh my God, you guys don't know Bruce Castor is and then somebody by the name of Crime Time Buzz was calling him Bruce Cantor instead of Castor. I'm like, you can't even get this shit right. Like, what's going on? Up to good. She's doing a little bit better. She's actually cuddled up with Kiki. I'll show you guys in just a second when I go in there. Yeah, a lot of you guys have the same similar issues to me. I try not to, Nicole, but I do that. That's how I'm one of those fake it till you make it people. I have too much else going on to give it attention, and it took control of my life for many years. And I'm not about to do that anymore. I handle it the best I can, and usually it's with humor and waiting until things get out of hand. No Paula pictures, please. You're spared. You're spared for a couple years. Hey, Callie. Hey, Lynn, Love and Light. And I don't like feeling like I'm having a pity party for myself. It's just, I got an ass ache, okay? I had the piriformis muscle in your butt cheek. You can Google that and like see where it's at. So they injected that along with the SI joint. And it's a little bit bad. It's a little bit inflamed right now. Hey, Aunt B. Ooh, yeah. Heel spurs. I've heard that that's terrible. Mini cows. Yeah. There's new babies. Hey, Sasha. I have been putting it off since 2009. Up to good. They wanted to do back surgery on me in 2009, and I've been putting it off. I also have a torn meniscus and all sorts of shit. My knee will give out, and I'll have to wear a brace. Like I'm like a robotic person over here. If you guys only knew all the cool apparatuses and devices I have. I could be a medical device sales rep just out of my closet. Hey, Mercedes girl. I don't know if I said hi already. Hey, 12 gauge. Okay, let's move on because I don't want to talk about me. Hey, Jenna Jean. Ava. Yes, Terry. Sciatica. Yep. Hey, Hartley. Oh my gosh, Revival. I need to read that someday to them. I really do, because that is the level of like what we do for fun. And we find ourselves hysterical. Well, I find you hysterical, but then that was like the best thing ever. And people would be like, oh my God, they say this about their friends. Hell yeah. And we find it fucking funny as shit. Okay. We do. Hey, Shop. It's so good to see you. Oh, I'm so glad that you are getting a break. Lip locked, midnight shadow. Ooh, vitamin D deficiencies that's rough too. Yeah, it's a constant, like once you have one, you kind of have to have another one because, it will constantly go up and the other ones give out because they get so much strain put on them. Yeah. I worked for a chiropractor when I was like 22 years old, and I saw so many people have issues from back surgeries. So it kind of scared me for a long time. Nicole, we're not joking when we say Revival wrote mine. Give me a moment here. It's saved. I'll read it to you guys. I'll read you the first. I won't read it all, but I'll read you the first couple lines. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's right here. Becky Sue Nonsense was born in a barn in North Dakota 41 years ago. The doctor that delivered her accidentally slapped her face as he saw an asshole in 2 places. She enjoyed hanging out on family farms as she was growing up and therefore developed a keen sense of smelling bullshit. This led to a lifetime of preferring animals over humans. At the time of her death, she was harboring a miniature zoo in her home. Becky was unable to keep her legs closed and got knocked up as karma for playing a pregnant nun where she worked at a local bar. That's all factual. Fortunately, her lovely daughter survived poor parenting and is now a successful young lady. It is so fucking good. It is so good. If you only knew our humor, it is so damn good. Kyle was dying and wanted his written. Health challenges affected Becky throughout her life. She developed a condition known as POTS, acronym for piece of twisted shit. She used her condition as an excuse for her drunken clumsiness, which resulted in several broken bones and other injuries. After meeting her partner, Kyle, I'm just reading it all because it's too good not. Becky began her reign of terror on social media. She started out on Facebook, but then moved to YouTube where she tried out her hand at true crime. sensing an opportunity to grift. Her first true crime live only got 400 views, so she quickly shifted to teaming up with the infamous Katie Joy. When Katie decided to quit paying her, Becky moved on to her next target, the lovely and classy MGL. Becky successfully mass flagged MGL and got her channel removed, so Becky then went on to dragging the creator Brittany J for filth by talking about her every single day. She also did her best to grift by forcing her moderators to constantly push her Cash App and memberships. Becky hung on due to the efforts of her co-host Revival, who sat on her panel in complete silence except to say, "I love you," at inappropriate times during Becky's live streams. Becky will be remembered as a big-nosed, black-hearted, simple trash bag by those who knew her. Please join us in a celebration that the witch is finally dead. You don't know how much that shit made my day. Revival is seriously, if you guys don't understand, Revival is one of the funniest fucking people ever. And this is the shit we do. When these people are out here like acting a fool and they're like, oh my God, they're so triggered. No, we turn them into fucking laughing stocks and self-deprecating humor of the best. Tell me that's not exceptional. That was exceptional. Yeah. This is the shit we do. So when everybody's out here like doing all the most and digging on each other, no, we're writing obituaries and fucking Revival's making comic strips, Betsy's Army, and having a freaking laugh. If people learned how to laugh more often at themselves, with their friends, with their loved ones, at themselves first and foremost, it would be really healing for some people. So, Revival's freaking hysterical. Yeah. Her comics have been so great. Revival, will you drop your channel link, please? It is, Callie. It's such a healthy way. Like, when I say, there's times I get upset, right? Like, there's times when things push my boundaries and my personal limits. But it has to be something that I'm actually invested in or somebody that I care about for me to really get emotionally charged up, which doesn't really happen. And usually I have more of a emotional reaction to what's being done to like the families and the children and things like that than anything said about me. I could care less what anybody thinks. And that's not a front. People that are strangers on the internet are never going to take up space in my mind to the extent that I'm going to give it life. I'm lucky to be here, and I take that very seriously. And the best way, the only way through all of my health issues and everything else was laughter. So it'll be a damn cold day in hell before I let some random stranger on the internet really get that far. We laugh. We turn them into laughing stocks, but usually it's us that we turn it into the laughing stocks. Yeah. Revival's fucking hysterical, you guys. Hysterical. The antis are going to be like, oh my God, I knew it. She was working. It's even in her obituary that Revival wrote. Gotcha. BJ is going to be over there celebrating, saying, see, even Revival put it in her obituary that she drugged Brittany for filth every day. Like, clip that shit, play it on repeat, please. Please do. Because let me tell you, we will get the best fucking laughs ever. It will be another moment of like having to Google FUPA because we have FUPA cam over here at the island because they tried to, body shame me, the big dick nose, all that shit. They tried to body shame me and I stood up and showed all of my gut and was like, you ain't going to shame me over shit. I embrace that FUPA. Here you go. And then we turned it into FUPA cam. That was B Ferg's fault too. Inappropriate thoughts all the time. It's so good though because it works. It works. You gotta laugh. You gotta freaking laugh through this shit. And sometimes Yeah, laughter is truly the best medicine. It really, truly is the best medicine. And I'm just lucky to be surrounded by people that are incredible with shit like this. And it is like, yeah, I can't even explain how much that's what gets me through out here. All right, let's go. Now that we got my obit out of the way and all my complaints out of the way, somebody's going to have a field day with this. Oh my God, look at her. She's trying to get pity so bad. She's grifting for a new fucking robotic body because she's bitching because her ass hurts. They even went as far as writing her an obit because obviously she's nothing but a crybaby bitch and whines to her friends and needs to grift for a new robotic body. Can you believe that bitch nonsense? Oh my fucking God, Becky. Look at her with the dick nose. It's bigger than most of your boyfriends. Anyways, okay, carry on. See, this is what happens when I'm in fucking pain. When I'm in pain, it's probably not a good thing for me to have a live button on this app. Probably not, because now we're gonna transition into Dragging Beddy, and who knows where that's gonna fucking go. Okay, buckle up. We might all need it. Last night, I even told 2 of my girls, I was like, if I get out of line, text me. Get me back in line. I only got one text of telling me, okay, you're starting to detour a little bit here. You might confuse people. And if you don't want to go back. I was like, yes, only once. Let's roll.
Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Bullhorn Betty here, true crime. We've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers for well over 8 months. This case has had a lot of twists and turns, a lot of chaos, a lot of craziness associated with the case, including the arrest of me.
Me. You shot about the Betty. By the way, Granny did officially get served today. I will be talking about Nick's live stream last night, the filings, that stuff later on. But like I said, I'm making sure I have all my clips lined up and stuff for making the points that I want to make. But yes, she has officially been served. So now it's not just in a limbo, which is actually, it's bad to say that it's a good thing that it's not just sitting in limbo, because that's really stressful, like not knowing what's going to happen, anything like that. So now they can handle it appropriately and carry on and get it taken care of instead of it just lingering out there with all this stuff. And other people have been added, or they're attempting to add other people. And we'll go over that at a later time. But that's a lot of brain power for me to like lay all that out. And I'm not, as you guys can tell, I'm not quite there today. So we're just going to go here.
Or doing nothing more than what we've done on every case, what other news organizations have done on every case, get the lay of the land, videotape a daytime view and a nighttime view on public roadway, which we're lawfully able to do.
My God, the excuses that she makes, after, I think, Hazel Eyes, I think afterwards. Wispy, it's so good to see you guys. You guys, please keep Wispy in your thoughts. Her health, speaking of health, many of you know that Wispy is an MS warrior. And if you know about MS, the only thing I can say about MS is fuck MS. Fuck cancer, fuck MS, fuck all of the health conditions. But you can tell, like, MS really takes a toll on people. And please keep her in your thoughts. And if you're the praying type, please keep her in your prayers. That's a lot. And anybody else going through chronic health struggles, same thing. You're not alone. And you are seen, you're heard, and you're valued, because that shit's really hard and it's very isolating. So carry on, Betty. But please do that for me.
Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home allegedly on February 26th, 2024, although he has
allegedly, even though law enforcement has confirmed that, they are now trying to, well, we don't really know. Allegedly. Come on, Betty. Stop with the twists and turns.
Not been seen by any third party since 6:30 the night before at the Texas Roadhouse Grill.
And that's not true. Again, that's not true, because law enforcement, even web sleuths, When Chloe was working in capacity of being Seth's PI, Chloe confirmed that there was additional videos of Sebastian being seen on ring camera footage taking the trash out. It did get turned into, well, it was dark, it was pixelated, you couldn't see, I couldn't identify by Seth, but it was pretty clear and concise in the beginning that he was seen taking the trash out later that evening beyond the Texas Roadhouse. And that right there, Beddy says they're not sure, if he was seen after the Texas Roadhouse. So that would mean, in their theory, again, what she's trying to imply here would be that he didn't make it home. But then you go to Tony and Seth on Court TV claiming that law enforcement says that there's no evidence of him ever leaving the home. So to fit their narrative, this all the same team, remember, to fit their narrative, he would have had to make it home, right? Which law enforcement has never said that there was no evidence of him ever leaving the home. Of course, any investigation is going to start at the very place around the very people that he was last seen, which is the home. So they can't even pick a lane, the team members.
Far from Sebastian's home. We know that there has been some flashlight videos that were released by Nick Barris. We know that there was a car that those lights.
Some flashlight videos. Oh my God.
Went to.
That car lights went to. First and foremost, nothing has been confirmed that it was flashlights. It's a highly edited select corner of a bigger video that is a couple seconds long that was released. It's not confirmed that it's flashlights. It is not confirmed that there's a vehicle that the flashlights go to. This is all additional shit that Beddy and the team and other people on social media have added to the story. We don't know what those lights were factually if we're talking about what law enforcement has stated, which is extremely important in a case like this because there's a missing child.
We are finally hearing some information. But I think the most important is some of these statements that I said.
Oh, of course. Some of the most important are statements that you said. Fuck yeah. Idiostasy 101. Right here, coming up. The Idiostasy Statements of the Year. Bullhorn Beddy, 2024.
What have I said? I said Texas is broke. I said Texas is not doing enough for our children.
The fuck are we going to Texas for? There's a missing child out of Tennessee. What is this shit? These are the most important statements of the Idiostasy of Beddy of 2024.
News 5, which is the news channel that Nick Barris works for, released a scathing information report about how children in the system are being shipped off to other states.
Oh my God.
Here is the story of the hundreds of children in DCS custody are sent out of state to out-of-state facilities. Nashville, Tennessee.
This was just posted by Ben Hall on November 6th, 2024. And this is not new information that they use out-of-state facilities because there is lacking in funding and facilities in a lot of states. Carry on.
Department of Children and Family Services sends many kids in its custody to out-of-state facilities because it does not have the resources in Tennessee to care for them. As of last month, the department had 200.
You know what else happens? Locally here, we just had a DCS worker attacked in the DCS building. During a visit with the father, they had had an hour-long conversation where the father had been streaming it to Facebook. The conversation ends. There's a fist bump at the end when they part ways. It was a male DCS worker in the DCS building in Mesa, I'm pretty sure. There's a news article about it. If you would like to see it, I can pull that up. And when he goes to walk by the gentleman, the father of the daughter that had been removed after the fist bump, the guy turns around and puts him in a chokehold for 2 minutes. You know why that's happening? Because funding and budget cuts to social service programs to protect our children. Again, you want to talk about the root cause of these things that you fail to understand, Betty? Funding is being cut from programs. So things like security facilities are ending up in very dire straits to protect and serve our children. And you know where that starts, Betty? Probably don't want to talk about that. And no, it didn't just happen during the Biden administration either. It's been going on and cutting down for years.
129 children in other states. The department uses 38 different out-of-state facilities.
Little horses, I will pull up the article right now for you.
Some as far away as Arizona, Utah, and Wyoming. States that can do things like restrain children to beds when Tennessee law prohibits that kind of conduct, such as Utah. This is a very concerning and a very alarming.
I'll insert that right here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This was just posted 19 hours ago. This is from Arizona's family.
First off, warn everyone that this video is extremely disturbing. It shows the exact moment a quiet meeting to address some family issues suddenly turns violent. 32-year-old DeAndre Johnson is facing an assortment of charges: attempted murder, aggravated assault, unlawful flight.
You guys are offering services that might be able to help.
And it's all because of what happened in this Facebook video that Johnson posted live on Tuesday. According to court records, the Valley dad wanted to document the sit-down meeting he was having with a caseworker from Arizona's Department of Child Safety to talk about his daughter. The meeting, which took place in the lobby of this DCS office in Mesa, lasted about an hour.
All right, man. All right, so we'll be in touch. Sounds like a plan.
You can see the two men.
Pay attention closely to what you're seeing in the video here. You will see this all unfold. Trigger warning, it's very raw and real. But budget cuts have been happening for a long time, and it greatly impacts social services.
And get up, fist bump, then the caseworker walks away. A split second later, Johnson appears to grab the state employee and put him in a chokehold.
You was a dead man. The moment you took my daughter in that room.
More than 2 minutes go by and the caseworker doesn't appear to be moving. Eventually, you hear people in the lobby. The victim is left lying on the ground and the attacker takes off.
Child welfare is very difficult work.
DCS Deputy Director David Lujan says the video shows how dangerous caseworkers' jobs can be.
It's very difficult to watch. It is, I think what was really telling about that video is that the caseworker had a, more than an hour-long conversation where they're talking calmly. Things seem to be going okay. They sort of fist bump to say goodbye, and then just out of the blue, this happens.
Mesa police tell us Johnson was arrested about 3 hours later in Scottsdale after not pulling over for a traffic stop. The victim was rushed to a nearby hospital where he reportedly told police that Johnson threatened to kill him last week, but he was able to calm the angry dad down. The incident raises new concerns about the safety of DCS staff members when they meet with parents and other family members. Earlier this year, DCS stopped providing security guards at DCS offices around the state due to budget cuts.
Did you hear that? Due to budget cuts, they stopped providing security. Yeah. Budget cuts have been a thing for quite some time, and it continues to have this trickle-down effects in all states. And that's why there's so many kids that fall through the cracks with the system too. Yes, the system is flawed and needs overhauled from top to bottom.
They had a responsibility to keep my daughter safe. They had a responsibility to keep the case aides safe.
Florence mom Erin Michael tells us this week's attack brings back memories of when her then foster daughter was kidnapped and her state worker attacked during a visitation several years ago. She says the latest incident shows the need to step up security for caseworkers.
And especially knowing that this father had made threats a week prior to the case aide. That was the same in our case. The birth mom had made threats to the case aide and they were silenced. No one did anything.
Who threatened him the week before? He was in the lobby of the DCS building and this still transpired.
to make sure that all parties were safe.
Now, we're told that DCS does have protocols in place to protect caseworkers, everything from having emergency alerts on their phones to being able to request a partner when they perceive a possible threat. The agency is planning to request more funding for safety during the next legislative session. As for the caseworker, we're told his injuries were life-threatening, but thankfully he is out of the hospital and home recovering. Back to you guys.
That's a scary situation, but budget cuts have been happening for quite some time across the country. It's been an ongoing problem and it continues to get worse. And the ones that suffer are the kids. DCS workers are going into homes unsafe, without security, without police. People waste resources calling DCS on families that don't need it. It's such a complicated, but this has been going on. And how she's trying to do this spin maneuver here, Beddy, is just her lack of understanding that these things have been happening all over. And it's like, this is for somebody that is such a child advocate to not know what is happening and has been happening. Say it ain't so.
Revelation. We have learned also that there are,
and just get your listening ears on here, because this piece is where we're gonna, this is astounding breaking information with Beddy.
have learned also that there are 40 active missing children in Tennessee.
Do you think that there's 40 active missing children in Tennessee? How many think that's an accurate number? If you think that's an accurate number, put 1 in the chat. If you think that number is inaccurate, put 2. Don't worry.
Currently, Tennessee has 40 missing children. They have not looked.
But she goes on to say that Tennessee has 40 missing children, not active alerts, not active cases, 40 missing children. It gets worse. And I'm ready to pull up the facts here in a moment, but let her get through here.
Located, and we have no earthly idea what is going on with these children, but they're gone. And it doesn't appear Tennessee is even looking for them. 40. And while Florida is a much larger state than Tennessee, we have 5. And as I look at this, it appears one of those 5 children have been found, leaving only 4. They're 40. I've told you there's been.
So Tennessee has 40 missing children. Okay, let's go to the TBI. So they do. They have 40 missing children. Plus, they have active alerts, Amber alerts, endangered missing alerts. There's different protocol. So Tennessee's missing children. This is active missing children, child alerts. And you can go through and see Tennessee endangered young adult alert, Tennessee Amber alert. These are the ones that have alerts on them. Tennessee's missing children has so many. There are so many more missing children than she's accounting for. The 40 have alerts. There's many more. And there's different protocols through all of it. Now, she went on to say, and you can go check out all this stuff yourself. There's lists. You can go to NCMEC. You can go to the Charlie Project. Like, you can go all sorts of places and find that there's way more than 40. She says Florida has 5 missing children. Do you think Florida only has 5? Well, missing children from ages 0 to 16 years old, just cutting it off at 16. Here's a 5 right here on page 1. Let's go in here. Can you guys see this, what I'm doing? Let me make sure you can see. Yep, you can see what I'm doing. So let's go search. So there's 5. There's 5 more. There's 5 more. There's 5 more. 5 more. Oh, wait. Displaying 21 to 25 of 88 records. Now, as far as the active alerts, That's where she's got active alerts versus missing children. She says Tennessee's got 40 missing children. Florida's a larger state and only has 5. These are active alerts. She can't even get her freaking wording right to make it make sense. But just wait. She's going to go further. And it's all called clicking buttons. Buttons. There's buttons that show you. There's so many missing children. So many missing children. And you can go through it. Like, these are the active alerts. Current missing child alerts. But you can go through here and find over 88 records of children that are missing between the ages of 0 to 16 years old. 88 records. And they range in date from 2013 and carry on. But she's so worried about getting a point across with her conspiracy here, she's going to even take it further.
Been a huge problem in Tennessee with the location of children that go missing. And all of this information compiling is proving that point, that there is a huge problem in Tennessee.
Actually, that would mean to me, in my opinion, that if Tennessee has 40 active alerts on missing children, they have better protocol to place an alert. It's a broader spectrum. So more people, more children are being placed under an active alert versus Florida, who has over 88 missing children just in those age ranges, and only 4 have active alerts. To me, it would mean that Tennessee is doing more to get the information out and putting alerts on these missing children than Florida is. Wouldn't you say that? This video is just a little bit ago that she just did. So it seems to me that Tennessee is doing more by broadening the alerts for more kids to fall in those categories to get the information out versus Florida. Doesn't fit her narrative though, does it? Yeah, interesting, huh? Just wait. Let her carry on here.
I've also said that Tennessee is not doing enough for their children, and these new revelations are proving just that.
And again, we go back to budget cuts and policy and the systems that need to be overhauled, but you don't even have an understanding of any of that.
But let's not forget about Millersville.
I love her little edits here because she obviously said the wrong name of the town, so she had to edit her own voice out and say Millersville twice. Let's talk about that. Let's let you talk, Beddy, and run your narrative here.
Is a place that was raided by the state, and they were alleging that the government of the state of Tennessee, that some government officials in Tennessee are engaging in HT or ST practices.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind that, and I want you to pay attention to what she's telling you. Okay,
place that was raided by the state, and they were alleging that the government of the state of Tennessee,
that the government of the state of Tennessee, she's very specific in what she says.
Some government officials in Tennessee are engaging in HT or ST,
human and sex trafficking
practices. According to WSMV4, the city of Millersville releases a statement on TBI raid. Police say the department has nothing to hide. Following the raid by the TBI of City of Millersville has released a statement to WSMV4. The city claims it requested the TBI to investigate criminal activity that occurred in the city limits prior to 2024. Its statement, the City of Millersville Police Department remains committed to enforcing the state and local laws.
I love all these cuts that she's been doing in this little load here. She knew she had this all fucked up and just still went with it.
Department does not need to wait for third-party agencies to intervene before conducting an investigation or taking action to prevent illegal activity within the city. The city addresses the raid that took place by TBI at City Hall, saying agents were seeking various files and electronic information. The city said these search warrants suggested TBI is investigating official misconduct involving individuals previously reported.
Official misconduct doesn't sound like human or sex trafficking to me.
In fact, the Millerville Police Department has made multiple attempts to provide the very information that was.
And again, if you wanted to walk this story, you should have actually learned the facts of the story, because you took salacious details trying to put a narrative and spin it when it's actually a bigger issue that's going on in Millersville that some of us have been aware of for quite some time now, like months. But I'll walk you through it as soon as she's done rambling.
Seized in yesterday's search. The city has been and will be transparent and cooperative. Wednesday, investigators.
Tilly, thank you for the support. She is a political activist, didn't you know? She's a front row hoe. She is a front row hoe at its core.
Learned that TBI was seeking evidence in connection with 3 alleged crimes in their raid of the Millersville Police Department.
3 alleged crimes?
TBI agents raided the headquarters of Millersville Police, as well as the White House home of Sean Taylor, the assistant chief of police department, hauling out cases and boxes. According to the warrants, among items sought.
Well, okay, so can anybody tell me here what that has to do with Tennessee using out-of-state facilities for kids in DCS custody? How did we go from Sebastian to Texas to using out-of-state facilities because there's no resources into Millersville having a raid on a county official? What are we trying to wrap up here?
Included computers.
Oh, wait, these are idiocy statements by Beddy 2024. The important things and statements she's made. Yeah, this is filled with more of them. Go, Beddy.
Hard drives of the police chief, Brian Morris and Taylor. This was related to what the Millersville chief believed was an HT or ST of individuals. We've just learned the bombshell information that children are being shipped out of the state.
Oh.
Is there any relevance to that?
Oh.
I don't know. But I know that as people start looking into this, a lot of our findings that we found out years ago are starting to be noticed by mainstream media.
Oh, really? Your findings that you're trying to lump a whole bunch of shit together here, claiming that Florida has 5 missing children, Tennessee's got 40, when both states have way more. Those are just active alerts. And again, Tennessee is putting more alerts on missing children than Florida. And you're saying that Tennessee is failing all the children, nobody else is. Budget cuts have been a huge thing. There's been so much problem with the trickle-down effect of social services being cut. But now you're trying to mix in something that happened in Millersville to... What, Beddy? And then you started it off by you were saying, even you got arrested. What the fuck does one thing have to do with another, Beddy? This is called circle fucking talking. This is the art of circle talk. When you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you just ramble shit and try to put square pegs in round holes. That's what we're doing here, to try and sell a narrative that Tennessee is corrupt, poor Beddy is a victim, and none of this connects at all.
A day late and $1 short, but I'm glad they're finally catching up. We have a huge problem in the state of Tennessee, and while others are too busy trying to arrest Bullhorn Beddy, then resolve the issues in...
Oh, of course. Too busy trying to arrest Bullhorn Beddy. Bitch, if they wanted to arrest you, they're going to arrest you. Why aren't you headed to Tennessee for the ride tomorrow? Or are you in Tennessee for the ride tomorrow? Because it doesn't look like you're in Florida right now.
In their state that are gravely affecting the children of their state. Because let's face it, when they're shipping kids out, it's telling us there's no beds.
Rocket Science 101 with Beddy.
And what have I said the whole time? Department of Children and Family
that they want to arrest you.
Services are in these families long before these children disappear.
Oh, I see.
Yet they fail to pull the children out of the home. Why?
Oh, yep. Got to wrap it back up that DCS failed. Bitch, if DCS failed, why isn't there complaints? Why isn't there a lawsuit against DCS CPS, whatever the fuck, however many different ways you want to put it in Tennessee. If they failed to act, meanwhile, the cases were closed. They were looked into and closed before Sebastian went missing. Quite a period of time. And we're not privy to that information. You guys tried using the whole he was going to release these CPS reports before to get attention. We all knew that couldn't happen because he'd get charged. But you tried that before. Are we kind of circling back around trying to get some attention going here on the same thing again? That if we knew what was in those reports, we wouldn't be able to sleep at night? If it's so bad, why hasn't Seth filed complaints and a lawsuit against the state of Tennessee? Because he's signed up and filing lawsuits against random people, but not the state of Tennessee, when supposedly their inability to protect Sebastian is what you guys are trying to paint was the reason for him no longer being here, because he wasn't notified? Is that what we're doing here? You would think that the energy spent trying to sue people or go after getting factual information and making a change would be invested in the state of Tennessee, wouldn't it?
Because they have no money, they have no funding, and they have no beds. So they leave these children with the abusers up until they disappear. And then all of a sudden,
they have to have probable cause and enough reason to pull children.
You can't have an opinion that the parents may have something to do with it. And in many cases,
Beddy,
statistics show us it's the parents. Tennessee has a lot of work to do in arresting Bullhorn Beddy and trying to throw her in jail because of her commentary is not
just your commentary. It's the fact that you kept them under surveillance and threatened them with bodily harm, harassed and stalked them, made veiled threats. I mean, the list goes on, but good try, Beddy. One thing has nothing to do with the other.
Fixing these issues. We demand truth. We demand justice.
You don't know what fucking truth is if it slapped you in the fucking face.
And more importantly, in Tennessee, we demand transparency.
Oh, you demand it, huh? You gonna demand it from a jail cell?
Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to
Thank you for allowing me to serve you. What is this, Beddy, for fucking presidency of 2028? Like, what the fuck? Is this her new, like, I'm not even joking. I think this is what she's going to try and convince people.
We demand justice, and more importantly, in Tennessee, we demand transparency. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to tell the stories of these cases. And
to serve you what? A bunch of fucking misinformation and bullshit, Beddy? Serve you what? Who are you serving?
I will continue to do so for many years to come.
Oh, this is the political campaign coming. We are on the road to Beddy for fucking something 2028. And people say that this team doesn't have political aspirations. Meanwhile, Nick and the team are telling you that Donald J. Trump's team has allocated resources in February. They didn't tell you a year. It could be February 2300 for all we know. There was no year included, but in February, they want you to believe that Donald J. Trump is so concerned about this one missing child that he is dedicated to allocating funds for just that one missing child. And now Beddy is thanking you guys for allowing her to serve you. Serve you what? Split ends? Wrinkles? Bad foundation? Terrible eyebrows? Some runny beans and rice? Like, what?
And I'm going to work very hard and tirelessly to affect change in the state of Tennessee when it comes to our children. And
you don't even live in Tennessee.
I ask my audience for their humble support while we advocate for change in Tennessee, as this is affecting a lot more than just Summer Wells and Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Tennessee.
Maybe advocate for the children in your state that aren't even getting active alerts placed. Maybe try that.
needs help. They need better policing. They need better training. And more importantly, better laws to help them get the bad guys behind.
Beddy for sheriff of Sumner County 2028. I can see it in the future. I got my magic crystal ball out.
Behind bars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channels on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and right here on YouTube. God bless.
I am so fucking embarrassed for her. The embarrassment from this little 8 minutes is unreal. She's getting off her knees behind Chili's and she is going to serve you something. Are you going to run your campaign trail in the parking lot of Chili's asking for a friend? Me? All right. Since she wanted to talk about this stuff in Millersville, let's go back to July so I can show you what's actually happening in Millersville. Millersville is close to Sumner County, but it's not.
And a badge to people who believe in and share bizarre conspiracy theories. Well, tonight, secret recordings from inside an operation run by the troubled
Bizarre conspiracy theories? No. Say it ain't so. We don't have some vigilante justice conspiracy theorists on the loose, do we?
Millersville Police Department provide a sobering answer to that question.
Those secret recordings were obtained by News Channel 5 investigates from inside what was supposed to be a sting operation to nab child sexual predators. But as you are about to hear, in their zeal to make some big cases, Millersville conspiracy-minded cops appeared to have crossed the line of what is legal.
This is another exclusive dug up by our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams. And what you've uncovered, we've heard some of it. It's disturbing.
Yeah, you know, sick individuals prowling online spaces in search of children is a real concern for law enforcement.
Absolutely is. Sex trafficking and human trafficking is a very real thing. But when you have people out here like Tim Ballard and others that are trying to make themselves a name by using the most noble causes, they make people not even realize what it actually looks like, what the reality of these situations are. Does anybody over here right now come from Facebook with me and remember Shane Coyle and the predator hunters that came to be a thing on Facebook years ago? You might not have even came from Facebook. You might have seen it over here. The UK had a big movement of these people, these vigilantes that would go in and do this predator hunting. And there was always some problems with the setup of these sting operations. A lot of times they would tell you that they were working hand in hand with law enforcement. Unfortunately, some of them did have ins to law enforcement. This will be an example of how that shit goes wrong.
And agencies like the TBI have had real success in busting those predators. But this Millersville operation appears to have been flawed from the very beginning.
I'm not authorized to just do this.
In the 15 years that Nick Leonardo has helped News Channel 5 sort through sometimes complex legal issues,
oh man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I used to have one like
none compares to these secret recordings that we obtained from someone inside what was supposed to be a sting to catch child sex predators.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
That sting, touted in this cheesy video posted online, was run back in May by Millersville's conspiracy-minded assistant police chief Sean Taylor and a colorful cast of characters he assembled for the operation.
A colorful cast of characters called Team Mongoose? No. Kind of feels like we have a similar type of team that's trying to play heroes in a missing child's case. A lot of people out here LARPing under the most noble causes, trying to make politics and political aspirations, and they're LARPing and using noble causes to do so. Say it ain't so.
Nick Leonardo's reaction?
That this is the most disturbing video that I've ever been asked to comment on since I've been doing the legal analyst job here at the station.
Some of your theories are so bizarre. Are you worried about them affecting your credibility?
I have no worries about that.
As News Channel 5 Investigates first revealed, Sean Taylor had voiced support for all sorts of bizarre conspiracy theories, many of them involving child sex trafficking and some of the country's most powerful political figures.
No, not high-powered political figures involved in these conspiracies. Kind of like our team is in communication with Donald J. Trump's team who's going to allocate resources to one single missing child in February, unknown date.
So be real careful, especially when it comes to our state agencies.
In a phone call in the run-up to the Millersville sting, Taylor once again reveals his conspiracy-fueled parent.
Excellent example, Ernie Shell. And didn't he try some shit in Tennessee too? I think he did. Unfortunately, there is corruption in some of these places, and there are conspiracy-minded police, law enforcement, corrupt officials. It's true.
Paranoia, insisting that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and other state law enforcement agencies are involved in the child sex trafficking.
So we just got to be real careful with them because we have people that we've already identified that are involved in the money laundering side.
Truth be told, it's a lie.
It's unhinged.
It's unhinged. It is very, very, very dangerous.
In fact, this team photo for Operation Clean Sweep, as Taylor dubbed it, consisted of just 5 police officers from Millersville, none with actual experience running.
Oh, did you hear that? 5 police, 5 actual law enforcement.
Child sex stings.
Who are the rest of them? Let's hear what they have to say.
2 of the men were introduced to the group as prayer warriors. The woman in the middle, a 3-time Republican.
Oh my God, kind of like spiritual advisors that were originally spiritual advisors and then became national spokespeople. Huh.
Candidate for Congress from North Carolina who faced accusations of domestic violence and child abuse that
somebody with political aspirations that has a record.
She denied. There were also 2 MAGA podcasters and this man, former Navy SEAL Craig Sawman Sawyer.
And one of those locations is near.
Would this be considered an extremist group of vigilantes?
Near Nashville, Tennessee, that they're flying the children into.
Sawyer now routinely makes unfounded claims, raising money for his own nonprofit called Veterans for Child.
Sammy, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you. Yeah. I'm saying, like, this is her to even use this. Beddy, come on now. We all see what you guys are doing.
Rescue, although there's no evidence that his group has ever rescued any actual children. And here behind closed doors, Sawyer talks about his own bizarre hopes for his work with Sean Taylor.
So start whacking some, not to make it political, but whole leftist, corrupt, pedophile, this evil thing that's taken over Nashville.
And then just when you
sounds like a Tim Ballard written speech.
Thought it couldn't get any more shocking, you keep listening and it just gets worse as it goes.
We're going to have search warrants that are already, they'll have to meet certain parameters for us to execute the search warrant, but they're going to be pre-signed search warrants.
And so a search warrant cannot be pre-signed. You have to see what's going on and you have to put that into a warrant and you have to swear to that individually in front of a judge, and that becomes the probable cause.
Is a pre-signed search warrant going to stand up in court?
A pre-signed search warrant would be a criminal offense in and of itself.
In the recordings, a member of Sawyer's team reveals a deal with Sean Taylor where Millersville PD would seize data from any suspects and share that data with Sawyer's group, people who are not sworn law enforcement officers.
They're going to dump their phones, and they've agreed to give us their contact lists off their phones.
But there's no reason whatsoever that any kind of evidence, electronic data that's seized from any kind of device pursuant to a valid search warrant should ever be in the hands of a private individual.
In our case, you literally.
But Beddy over here is telling us that this is government officials that are doing this in Tennessee. Tennessee, the state, isn't doing enough. When in reality, this is a very select group of people from Millersville, some vigilantes mixed with some conspiracy theorists. And here we are. Okay, Beddy, I see what you're doing. Seems awfully familiar to some of the things that we're seeing right now.
Literally create a profile, and within 10 seconds, it's flooded with predators saying, hey, baby, blah, 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 blah.
And the video shows it was members of Craig Sawyer's team actually doing the chatting, posing online as a 12-year-old girl. But listen to what Sean Taylor says he was told about how it had to be done to make it legal.
So we just talked to our DA. And so with the Tennessee state law, it says that the officer has to do the actual typing. That with our law, it says that it has to be a law enforcement officer posing as a minor.
Clearly, it needs to be a post-certified sworn law enforcement officer on the other side of that computer tapping those keys.
They needed videos of the law enforcement chatting.
I'm not getting your faces.
Yeah, I'm cool with it, but they wanted to show law enforcement, not us touching the phones.
And the fact that they end up with.
And guess where they probably found these decoys to pose as underage children? Facebook groups. I know some of the women that used to pose as decoys for Shane Coyle and all of the fuckery around that stuff. Tony Bloss, I think was his name. The trucker. That guy was a fucking clown. I mean,
People who are not law enforcement officers tapping the keys, those cases are in trouble.
Those cases are in serious, serious trouble.
The recording showed the plan was to try to lure the predators to this shell station here in Robertson County because the officers thought the prosecutor in this district would be more likely to work with them on.
huge issue, Cranky. Legit cases get thrown out because of ridiculousness all the time. They get thrown out when they should serve time. Our system needs changing, but these people don't help.
On their cases.
Yeah.
This is one of the detectives from that sting who's talking.
Mater there is best friend with the district attorney in Robertson County. They went to high school together. So he said, let's put this here so I can talk to him and we lock everything in. So he won't stand for nothing, and they all hate pedophiles.
And when they did get one suspect who had bicycled up I-65 from Nashville thinking he was going to have sex with a 12-year-old girl, Millersville police took the man into custody.
They said he was pedaling like a son bitch.
And the recording showed the suspect was brought here to this fire station.
What's so funny about a man going to have sex with a minor? What's so funny about them?
He didn't want to talk to police, so they turned him over to Craig Sawyer's film crew.
Let's walk out. Y'all's no camera crew.
He didn't want to talk to the police, so they turned him over to the film crew.
Went in and just started asking him questions. He just gave everything up.
The camera crew went in?
Yeah.
Is that?
That's fine. We didn't prompt him. We didn't prompt him to ask any questions. We didn't have him do anything. It was unsolicited, and he just started what we call spontaneous utterance. Just laying it out there.
I mean, hands down, the confession is not coming in for a host of different reasons, because you have a private third party doing the interrogation and sitting here and filming it. That's not coming into evidence. It's just not.
This guy could walk. Probably would.
He certainly would walk. Certainly would walk based on the.
If you were making some extremely valid points, 100%. There was actually some UK stings that I used to watch. I can't remember the names of the guys, but there was also some ones that would get physical. They would harm the people. And then those people would get off. A lot of them got off on entrapment, crazy shit.
Facts that we're going over here. I don't see how this prosecution could stick.
Still, the suspect was booked into the Robertson County Jail, which the detective grimly hints could be his last stop.
Probably, honestly, I wouldn't doubt he gets come up missing in the jail.
Yeah, I agree. I would like that.
That's what Robertson County.
Are you hearing that? Did you just hear that? Now, Beddy tried to tell you that the state of Tennessee is corrupt. Is there corruption? Fuck yeah. There's corruption in all sorts of places. Old boys clubs still exist. Utah, Arizona, all of the states. Tim Ballard and his band of wealthy white men used to fly into third countries and hire prostitutes and then claim that they had trafficking stings. That's not a joke. There is a federal lawsuit happening currently against Tim Ballard for things that him and others were doing. His own people have came out and talked about what they were seeing, what they were a part of, what they partook in. He's the founder of OUR, but he got booted right out of there. This shit happens, and a lot of people, like Beddy, think that they can override the law. When she's pointing out that there's corruption, she's a part of trying to corrupt situations to benefit herself, in my opinion. Making things look optically one way when they're really another. Look over here, not over there.
So I wouldn't doubt he gets come up missing in the jail.
Yeah, I agree. I would like that.
That's a Robertson County thing. If you know Robertson, Murray, Hickman, Monroe, and Giles, you're not coming out of the jail.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does he know that the rest of us do not?
Essentially, it sounds like he's saying we're taking him to a jurisdiction where we don't think he'll come out alive.
Well, yeah, that could be the inference that's drawn. That's very scary. And I think that's cause for an investigation by the TBI to determine what is meant by that.
Nick Leonardo says he believes Millersville PD is now a rogue agency where conspiracy theorists have decided the laws do not apply to themselves.
Guess what they just said there? Millersville PD. They didn't include Sumner County, where Beddy's trying to tell you that the judges and the law enforcement are corrupt and aren't doing anything to find a missing child. They specifically said Millersville PD. Millersville PD. Man, they're really trying hard for these optics, and they're failing really fast.
From what you've heard in these recordings, is this a police department that's out of control?
It sounds to me like it's a police department that had never had control. This is jeopardizing the safety of the citizens of the city of Millersville.
Yes, Autumn, 5 of them in that picture are law enforcement. She is included in one. If you back it up some, it actually goes through and shows you who's who. There's 2 basically spiritual advisors too in there, and it's a merry misfit band of interesting folks.
And something needs to be done.
Craig Sawyer has gone on InfoWars and other far-right podcasts attacking me for my investigation of Sean Taylor and claiming that this predator sting generated enough evidence to charge another 70 people. There's no way to tell if that's really true. After all, he has said a lot of things that are just flat out false. And unfortunately, Millersville police did not respond to my request for comment.
Does that kind of sound like adding 50 people to a RICO lawsuit? I mean, correction. Nick claims that there was only 49 last night. Huh. Using the media to emotionally confuse and prey on people to think things are optically one way when they're not. That wouldn't be what's happening here, is it? While Beddy tries to claim she's innocent of all sorts of things, that couldn't be happening.
You know, Nick Leonardo referenced this, but you have some sick, dangerous people, real predators, who most people would agree need to be behind bars.
That's right.
But that won't happen if you're not following the law.
Yeah, if you want to enforce the law, you have to follow the law.
It really is that simple.
Yes, Millersville does have parts of it in Sumner County, but they're not claiming that Sumner County Sheriff's Department had anything to do with this. They're specifically saying that this is Millersville PD.
Well, of course, we'll be watching to see if anybody who can do that takes action.
Absolutely.
This 32-year-old guy wants to spend a Sunday afternoon chilling.
Oh, imagine that goes into Chris Hansen. Okay, let's go on to August 5th. I got a couple more videos to share with you about this situation unfolding.
With the Millersville Police Department now the focus of a TBI investigation, News Channel 5 Investigates uncovers new questions about the stories that Sean Taylor tells about himself.
It's the story that just keeps on giving. A lot to get to here at 6 o'clock. We're glad you're joining us. I'm Hunter Hoagland.
And I'm Jennifer Krause. It is a scandal first uncovered by our chief investigative reporter, Phil Williams. And Phil, what you've uncovered seems to raise more questions about the police chief and assistant police chief's own stories.
That's right. Stories about the jobs he claims to have held in the past, stories about the retaliation he claims to have faced, stories that continue to raise questions about whether Millersville's conspiracy cop should have a gun and a badge.
pucker factor's starting to get a little high. I'm afraid I got a damn.
Yes, those of you that are saying that there's like parts of Millersville in Sumner and Robertson County are correct. They have, I don't know how the line works or whatever. I could pull up the map, but yes, you guys are correct. But they're not talking about Sumner County Sheriff's Department. This is specifically about Millersville PD. Kyle actually sent me this back in July, I think. Kyle found this and was like, wait a second. And so I looked into it back then and was like, this is some crazy shit. We actually talked about it briefly, and Chico's talked about it too.
Ford team sitting out here in the curtilage with the damn paint in my place with a laser.
In Sean Taylor's mind, he's been onto a vast international conspiracy involving some of the country's most powerful politicians.
We are getting closer and closer and closer to taking the deep state down.
A discovery, he claims, that has continually put a target on his back.
And every time that I will go to an agency and start digging, they will always, as soon as I start showing them everything, they shut me down.
Which is why the Millersville assistant police chief says he has had trouble keeping a job.
You don't become a gypsy cop going from agency to agency. You don't.
This guy and Beddy seem like they could be best friends. I'm sure Nick the Hat and At Night Intelligence Agency would love to employ you.
Don't do it. It's bad. But it was to the point that that's what was forced on me.
As the well-connected bad guys he imagines repeatedly try to shut him down.
And if they can't get rid of you, then they'll have the district attorney come after you.
But our News Channel 5 investigation discovered that Sean Taylor has left a trail of questions throughout his career. His Facebook page claims he once worked at the Williamson County Sheriff's Department. The agency says it has no record of him. On this job application, Taylor claimed he worked at the Hickman County Sheriff's Department as a deputy sheriff and chief jail administrator. Hickman County officials say,
oh my gosh, say it ain't so. Not unvetted information about jobs, making yourself more important than you actually are, claiming that you're a legal expert that graduated from a diploma mill for paralegal studies, like not stuff like that. Not being an ex-felon turned bounty hunter turned now with aspirations to become the border czar. Wouldn't they might have an opening. Dog might be off, doing other things. He's really vying for those spots in the White House. So
he was only a correctional officer.
I mean, literally, I was wrote up one time in my entire 25-year career and given a 2-day suspension for a pursuit that went from my location to downtown Nashville because it got caught on Sky 5 traffic and it ended up being some boys that had carjacked.
Or a jailer, a correctional officer claiming to be a sheriff's deputy, which he is by term, but not by what's usually the widely known definition. But from my understanding, the day that his child went missing, he went around telling law enforcement that he was a deputy sheriff even. That seems kind of embarrassing if that happened.
Some people.
In fact, records show Taylor nearly got fired from the Columbia Police Department in 2009 following a complaint by a woman he was pursuing while he was married. The woman claimed he continued to call and send her text messages over her objections, even calling her an in-lover because she was friends with an African-American officer. Investigators concluded he was guilty of harassment, stalking, and criminal trespassing.
Oh no, not things with racial undertones and harassment, stalking, and criminal trespassing. Beddy, I found your bestie for you. I could play matchmaker. Wonder if he's single.
Taylor initially denied the allegations. Then he worked out a deal for a 10-day suspension.
It's no secret. I was no angel when I was younger, and I'm not going to hide for it. My God, my Lord Jesus Christ, he knows what I've done.
In a recent interview with right-wing podcasters, the Millersville Assistant Police Chief seemed to acknowledge that our investigation would turn up some unsavory parts of his past. But it's not just what Sean Taylor has done in the past. We also uncovered questions about the bizarre stories he continues to tell about
Phil Williams, this investigative reporter, might be somebody to have an interesting conversation with. Huh. Beddy says that that's where Nick Barris works, which is where he does. Phil seems to be a deep dive investigative journalist into things that are optically very odd. Not only optically very odd, but factually very odd.
the people who he thinks will do whatever it takes to stop his investigations. We'd like to talk to you about some of your conspiracy theories.
All right, well, have a good day.
Taylor has refused to answer any of our questions about his wild conspiracy theories, but one of his favorites stems from a few months when he worked for this tiny police department in West Tennessee.
Literally had somebody show up to my house, warn me, and literally a week later to the day, I was involved in a head-on collision.
There, Taylor claims he got so close to the truth about the conspiracy he was investigating that, as he describes it, someone decided to take him out.
I was literally warned several times, and within a week of being warned one time, I was hit head-on in a car crash and survived that.
I wonder if they were black SUVs following you and threatening you. Or was it a white Pinto station wagon? Could that have been? I've heard that's kind of a thing down there. I mean, not factually. There's been no evidence or factual proof of any of those, but sounds to be fitting right up your alley there, sir.
But we dug up the accident report from that crash, and it showed that instead of being a deliberate hit, the other driver ran a stop sign. Both vehicles swerved to avoid each other before colliding, and Taylor did not show any signs of incapacitating injuries. Yet, as he tells it,
it took me out for about a year and a half.
Again, we got...
Oh my God, not making situations that was a typical car accident into a way bigger situation and making it out to be something it's not, and saying that your injuries were way worse than what they factually were. That's not happening either. My God, I feel like we're in a twilight zone of overlapping similarities.
At his personnel file, and it shows that several months after the crash, Taylor suddenly left a note with his badge and keys. The note said his grandmother was ill. Taylor had given no notice of his desire to quit and would not respond to calls or emails.
Sean, it looks like you're prepared for something, man. What's up here?
Oh, hell yeah. Corruption happens. Nobody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing that corruption doesn't happen and that crazy shit doesn't happen. If you haven't watched an American Conspiracy with Michael Riconosciuto and that shit, like, there's some real corrupt shit that happens. Nobody's denying that. But a lot of times when things are looking really off and there's no reason for it, and they're using noble causes like trafficking and missing children, and you're watching it play out in front of your eyes by people who LARP for a living, who have been in trouble with the law or incurred trouble facing criminal charges for breaking orders of protection, there's usually some more things going on.
Then in fall 2022, Taylor's story took another strange turn as he claimed his life was in danger from the conspiracies he had figured out.
T, thank you for the gifted memberships. You guys, welcome to the cabana. Thank T if you got one, please.
Would not surprise me if we get one of these tonight.
Oh, brother. Let me tell you, I've had a white van sitting in my cul-de-sac 2 days in a row. That was no joke.
A few months later, again, this was before he was hired at Millersville, Taylor reported that someone had shot up his house. According to a police report, Taylor suggested he may have been targeted because he has proven that numerous high-ranking politicians and judges in the area are linked to money laundering and narcotics delivering and sale.
Are you seeing any of these pictures?
Yeah.
and they came through cabinets, came through walls, exited. It was an attempt to scare. It was an attempt to say, hey, you need to shut up.
Back with his QAnon podcast buddies, Taylor said the
Not QAnon Oh.
TBI was called in and he gave an agent permission to search his property for evidence, but he claims she went rogue and began searching without him present.
It's not. I said, you can pack your stuff and leave. So basically, I put her in timeout, right? So she turns to me, she's like, well, I want to see who you're going to get to solve this.
Which feeds back into his bizarre conspiracy theories.
Now, you can't trust the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We have people that I've talked about on the shows that are former Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. We know where it goes.
The TBI says
I swear, we just found Beddy's perfect match. Perfect match.
Sean Taylor's complaint about the shooting at his house remains under investigation. Will it turn out to be a real threat or just another of his conspiracies? And what's strange, more strange about the story that involved the reported shooting at Taylor's house, there were no witnesses. Apparently no one caught it on home security cameras.
There was no witnesses, no camera footage.
And whoever fired the shots did not leave behind any shell casings that might have been used to help investigators tie it to a specific gun.
Interesting, and so many questions. I know you have
No, they cleaned up after themselves too.
tried repeatedly, many times, to talk to Sean Taylor, Millersville police, to get them to tell their side of the story. I assume still no luck?
Yeah, I reached out to them more than 72 hours ago, and as usual, have not heard back.
He's too busy on podcasts with his QAnon buddies. Let's go to September 13th and see what has evolved from that point. I think you get where I'm going with all this stuff. Beddy's taking a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this and, just trying to confuse and distract and, can't even get the facts straight about how many kids are actually missing, what's an active alert versus missing children. The fact that Tennessee has broader parameters allowing more kids to have active alerts versus Florida, where she should be that. She's thanking you guys for allowing her to serve you. Serve you what? Besides bullshit and misinformation, I'm not really sure. Poor her. Everybody wants to lock her up. But she's going to fix the corrupt government who has been pulling funding from social service programs for years. And the trickle-down effect is happening all over the country. But yeah, here we are. Here we are today. All makes sense, right? Yep. Okay.
But TBI agents are seeking to find in their raids of Millersville police. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tracy Cornett.
I'm Lauren Lowry. Today, special agents searched both the Millersville Police Department and the home of the city's assistant police chief.
Our chief investigative reporter, Jeremy Finley, obtained the search warrants connected to these raids. So, Jeremy, what do they tell us?
Well, they tell us a lot. As we first told you on News 4 at 4, the TBI is seeking evidence for 3 alleged crimes. But we also know they are seeking any information that the police department has on the people and businesses. WSMV4.
Chico, drop your link, please, to those videos. Chico actually covered this because she's in Tennessee and talks about corruption and stuff. This isn't the first time it's been talked about, but Beddy decided to throw it in her bullshit today, so here we are.
Or has been investigating for 1.5 years now. Tonight, 2 TBI raids on 1 police department. The first at Millersville's police headquarters itself. Agents seen walking in and out of the building. The other at the White House home of Sean Taylor, Millersville's assistant police chief. According to 2 search warrants served at the police headquarters and obtained by WSMV4 Investigates, TBI agents are looking for evidence in connection to 3 alleged crimes: official misconduct, aggravated perjury, essentially lying under oath, and official oppression, when a public figure abuses his power towards a person. One of the search warrants includes the names of people and businesses at the center of our thin blurred line investigation and other alleged misconduct in the city. The warrant for the crime of official misconduct reads that agents want the police department's files, documents, and data on Solarin, a security company, and Solarin's owner, Jack Bird.
A security company similar to like an intelligence agency. That would be kind of similar, right?
Our investigation tied the former administration of the police department to Bird's company, which is accused of hiring imposter police officers. They're also seeking the files on F.U. Tommy Long. You may recall, that's the name of the LLC we uncovered owned by the husband of a political opponent of Millersville Mayor Tommy Long. We showed you how a dumpster with the name of the LLC was placed next to the mayor's home. But those are all former problems. The TBI is also focusing on the current police department, specifically Assistant Chief Sean Taylor. Taylor has been criticized for his conspiracy theories he touts on podcasts. The other search warrant requests body camera footage from Taylor and the city's police chief in connection to an operation that led to a man's arrest.
Man, I bet the TBI is about fed up with wild extremist conspiracy theorists. I bet they've had about enough between those people who inserted themselves into the Summer Wells case to Millersville PD to the shit that goes down in Nashville and Memphis to a missing child. Like, I bet the TBI is fit to be tied.
In June, City Commissioner David Gregory called for Taylor's resignation.
I don't need a Taylor, Sean Taylor, in this city. I'm asking for his resignation. I want him out of here. He's killing our city. He's dragging our city through the mud.
All right, the search warrant includes all files police have on the mayor, a city commissioner, as well as former and current police officers. They also want all computer drives for the police chief and top police administration. Now, I did speak with the Sumner County District Attorney, Ray Whitley.
Oh, Ray Whitley? We have heard of Ray Whitley. Ray Whitley actually talked to Nick Barris about the Sebastian Rogers case. Ray Whitley's explained what it would mean for this missing child's case to turn from an open investigation into a criminal investigation. If you recognize the name, that should be why. You can find that on Nick Barris's Facebook, where he details that interaction with Ray.
Who says the TBI investigation is clearly into the current police department. But he says if the TBI investigations uncovers wrongdoing by past administrations, that too will be part of the investigation. Tracy?
Jeremy Finley tonight, thank you. Haven't covered tonight.
Well, shit. But let's go back here for a moment. And how did we get here all of a sudden? Well, this is
the location of children that go missing.
Let's remember a few key details of what Beddy told us today. Let's go back here for a minute.
Betty's doing well. Bullhorn Betty here. True crime. We've been covering the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers for well over 8 months. This case has had a lot of twists,
which you're lying about because you didn't even get involved until the end of March. But again, dates are hard. Facts are hard for you. Okay, I'll give you a pass on that one.
and turns.
It definitely seems like it's been a really rough 7 months for you, Beddy. The hairline's running, the eyebrows are furring. It looks like life has taken a toll on you. It's been a definite 7 months of stress for yourself, isn't it? I think you have court coming up on the 15th and the 20th. My question is, are you there for the ride tomorrow? Are you in Tennessee again for the ride? Or are you in Florida? Just asking for my nosy ass self.
A lot of chaos, a lot of craziness associated with the case, including the arrest of me for doing nothing more than what we've done on every case, what other news organizations have done on every case, get the lay of the land video.
All she was doing was getting the lay of the land, people. What's wrong with all of you? She has videotaped herself, going on their property, trespassing, jumping out in traffic, threatening people, talking about bringing a pew-pew, getting a GoFundMe to get a pew-pew, making veiled threats. I mean, the list goes on, keeping them under surveillance, claiming that, they murdered their child, inciting a whole lot of things to happen to them, going as far as saying that the judge and the sheriff are corrupt, and the judge should be concerned about his grandchildren, basically, too. You didn't even just threaten the family. You made a veiled threat to the judge. Oh, yeah. Okay. But she's just getting the lay of the land, folks. That's it. We're wrong once again.
Videotape daytime view and a nighttime view on public roadway, which we're lawfully able to do. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his.
And again, I apologize for the pettiness. No, actually, I don't. Fuck that. Beddy deserves it all. All of it. All of the petty.
Home, allegedly on February 26th, 2024, although he has not been seen by any third party since 6:30 the night before at the Texas Roadhouse Grill, not too far.
Completely contradicting what law enforcement has said, but facts don't fucking matter. Throw those out the window.
From Sebastian's home. We know that there has been some flashlight videos that were released by Nick Barris. We know that there was a car that those lights went to.
Things that we factually do not know. We don't know if they were actually flashlights, and we don't know if they actually go to a car. Carry on.
We are finally hearing some information, but I think the most important is some of these statements that I said. What have I said? I said Texas is broke.
Oh, this most important things. Let's hear that once again. Don't forget, these are the idiosyncrasies by Beddy. The most important statements, the idiosyncrasies of Bullhorn Beddy 2024. We need a whole channel dedicated to the best quotes of Beddy for 2024. That would be never ending though, because it never stops ever with the idiosyncrasies. And I know it's idiocracy, but Beddy calls it idiosyncrasies. That's why I'm saying that. And Kyle made me watch Idiocracy the other night. I forgot how similar it feels.
We are finally hearing some information, but I think the most important is some of these statements that I said.
Oh,
what have I said? I said Texas is broke. I said Texas is not doing enough for our children. News 5, which is the news channel that Nick Barris works for, released a scathing information report about how children in the system,
it's about time she woke up,
are being shipped off to other states
because of lack of resources. We don't need to listen to that shit again because we already know. Most of us have been well informed of these issues for quite some time. It's called budget cuts that are affecting a lot of things across the country. Carry on.
Do things like restrain children to beds when Tennessee law prohibits that kind of conduct, such as Utah. This is a very concerning and a very alarming revelation. We have learned also that there are 40 active missing children in Tennessee.
Yeah, those are the
Currently, Tennessee.
Those are the active alerts. But just wait till she switches up her lingo here.
Tennessee has 40 missing children.
They have 40 active alerts on missing children. There is many more than 40 missing children. These are just the active alerts.
Have not located, and we have no earthly idea what is going on with these children, but they're gone, and it doesn't appear Tennessee is even looking for them. 40. And while Florida is a much larger state than Tennessee, we have 5. And as I look at this, it appears one of those 5 children have been found, leaving only 4 to their 40.
Again, Florida has had 5 active alerts. Not 5 missing children, like she says. 5, which is down to 4 active alerts. And let's just do some math here. Tennessee allows 40 children to have access to alerts. Florida, 5 that meet that criteria. Seems to me that Tennessee has broader qualifications that more children meet alert standards and are sought after than Florida. I mean, that seems like that's kind of, hell, never mind, throw it all common sense out the window here.
I've told you there's been a huge problem in Tennessee with the location of children that go missing.
Oh yeah, you've told us. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And all of this information compiling is proving that point that there is a huge problem in Tennessee. I've
A huge problem in Tennessee. Just Tennessee.
also said that Tennessee is not doing enough for their children. And these new revelations are proving just that.
Oh, these are the powerful statements.
But let's not forget about Millersville.
I love that edit right there. I fucking love that edit so much. She had to mute herself and say Millersville twice. Beddy, this one's impactful. This is so impactful. I mean, we know about Millersville now because we actually watched what's going on. But let's let you take it home just to wrap it up, because I want people to hear you thanking them for allowing you to serve them again. That's my favorite part.
The children are being shipped out of the state.
Budget cuts. Yeah, that's happening.
Is there any relevance?
Policy needs change. Systems need overhauled. Welcome to the world, Beddy.
To that, I don't know. But I know that as people start looking into this, a lot of our findings that we found out years ago are starting to be noticed by mainstream media.
It's all because of Beddy. Finally, people are paying attention because Beddy is the one out here advocating. Twist. Love right back at you. Thank you for all the support and being here with me.
A day late and a dollar short, but I'm glad they're finally catching up.
Oh.
We have a huge problem in the state of Tennessee.
Oh.
And while others are too busy trying to arrest Bullhorn Betty, then resolve the issues in their state.
Yeah, all resources have now been reallocated to arresting Bullhorn Betty. Tennessee's entire fiscal budget for the year 2024 was allocated to arresting Bullhorn Betty. Mm-hmm. Yep. Top priority, high asset, that they even turned the temperature down in the jail because she's such a well-known asset and a huge target, you know. Then they made her sleep on concrete for 19 hours, and she's got more back problems than anything, and she can barely move her head, and she has to go to the doctor. Oh yeah, you know the drill.
That are gravely affecting the children of their state. Because let's face it, when they're shipping kids out, it's telling us there's no beds. And what have I said the whole time? Department of Children and Family.
What are you doing to help that, Beddy? Do you offer up your home? Are you a foster care? Have you adopted any children? What are you doing to actively make a change in your communities to help the kids so they don't have to end up in foster care homes, group homes? Oh, that's right. You just run your fucking lips and don't do a goddamn thing. You've never really even had any personal history of dealing with the system. Have you, Beddy? You talk a lot, but have no idea what it's actually like working with the system, working against the system, working with the system. You have no clue because you've never done anything besides run those fucking lips of yours. When some of us do the fucking work that others of you, puff your chest and talk about, but do nothing to help fix. Besides acting like there's a conspiracy because you got arrested.
Services are in these families long before these children disappear. Yet they fail to pull the children out of the home. Why? Because they have no money, they have no funding, and they have no beds.
And Beddy, what's the answer to allocating more funding for social services? What would the answer be? Policy change? Systems being overhauled? You're a political advocate. How can a lowly asshole like me that knows nothing, I'm such an idiot buffoon, I'm a hate channel. How would I know that it would take policy change and funding to be allocated for these services to protect our children? Oh, again, Tennessee's budget went to arresting Bullhorn Betty for 2024. Top priority asset.
So they leave these children with the abusers up until they disappear. And then all of a sudden, you can't have an opinion that the parents may have something to do with it. And in many cases, statistics show us it's the parents.
Oh, and a nice little each try to interject here that there's a missing child and there was DCFS involvement previously with the child. And because he wasn't removed, then that would fall back on budget cuts by DCFS potentially because he wasn't removed. Or could it be that there was no evidence to the claims and that's why the case was closed? I mean, shit, we don't know because it's to do with a minor child. We don't have access to those records, nor should we. You know who does, though? Law enforcement, who's investigating the disappearance of Sebastian. And again, I'm going to ask you, you and your team, since you are so litigious, trying to sue two random people from Pennsylvania, why isn't that energy being spent going after the state of Tennessee, who you are claiming ultimately failed Sebastian? Why isn't there complaints being levied at the state? Why isn't there a mass email campaign being directed towards DCFS for the failure? Oh, wait, is it more just lip service and optic building? I wonder. Tell us what you're going to do for us, though, please. Take us home.
Tennessee has a lot of work to do, and arresting Bullhorn Betty and trying to throw her in jail because of her commentary is not fixing these issues.
Yeah, I saw that today, Donna, that Vinny is talking about Sebastian again. No shock. They're trying to push media. See, this case, they can't play this out on a factual basis. They have to do this on an emotional media basis. So they are really upping the optics. Truly, this is when it comes down to it, there's a lot of optical games being played here. It's emotional manipulation and not sticking to the facts. It is trying to make people be pulled in by these things that they're seeing on YouTube channels and the media, you know, court TV and local media and stuff, because the facts aren't aligning with what they're trying to convince you has happened. None of us know where Sebastian is, nor what happened to Sebastian. But we'll go into that deeper in the next segment when I do Nick's video and At Night's posts with their digital footprint bullshit that True Crime Buzz had to, come out in the middle of the night and breaking update again last night. Yeah, we'll get there.
We demand truth. We demand justice. And more importantly, in Tennessee, we demand transparency. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to tell the stories of these cases.
Hold on. I just got to take this in and, I need this clipped. Bullhorn Betty for jail 2024. Her acceptance speech.
We demand truth. We demand justice. And more importantly, in Tennessee, we demand transparency. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to tell the stories of these cases. And I will continue to do so for many years to come. And
Thank you for allowing me to serve you. Nothing but bullshit, misinformation, and word salad. On her knees behind Chili's.
And I'm going to work very hard and tirelessly to affect change in the state of Tennessee when it comes to our children. And I ask my audience.
Meanwhile, factually speaking, from what you talked about, you should be putting that energy in Florida, considering Tennessee has 40 active alerts for missing children. And in Florida's parameters, only 4 of them meet that. Oof. But you're going to spend your time in a jail cell in Tennessee? Is that why you're going to be there serving the people of Tennessee from behind a cell block D? Asking for a friend. I don't know what's going to happen to you.
For their humble support while we advocate for change in Tennessee, as this is affecting a lot more than just Summer Wells and Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Tennessee needs help. They need better policing. They need better training. And more importantly, better laws to help them get the bad guys behind bars.
And she is on her way to spend time potentially behind bars. Top priority asset, entire Tennessee budget is allocated towards putting her behind bars. The bad guys behind bars. I wonder if that'll happen on November 20th.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channels on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and right here on YouTube. God bless.
Oh, yeah, God bless. America. Hold on, I gotta hear this. This gets me. This makes my soul content.
To do and arresting Bullhorn Betty and trying to throw her in jail because of her commentary is not fixing these issues.
Sorry, I could listen to this on repeat and never get old because this is just like, this made my day.
We demand truth, we demand justice, and more importantly in Tennessee, we demand transparency. Thank you for allowing me to serve you and to tell the stories of these cases. And I will continue to do so for many years to come. And I'm going to work very hard and tirelessly to affect change in the state of Tennessee when it comes to our children. And I ask my audience for their humble support while we advocate for change in
Is humble support to the tune of $30,000?
Tennessee, as this is affecting a lot more than just Summer Wells and Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Tennessee needs help.
The United States needs help. Policies need to be changed. Funding needs to be allocated to social services. Okay, carry on.
They need better policing. They need better training. And more importantly, better laws to help them get the bad guys behind bars.
I could probably listen to that about 15 more times and never get old. Yes, she is definitely campaigning. She's definitely campaigning. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. She's the next MTG. I can't fucking help but laugh, you guys. It's not funny at all. What she's doing is not funny, but she sucks at this, man. She sucks. She's not even convincing. Like, this is such a low-level bullshit that she sucks at. She fails so bad at this. It's like, Betty, shut up. Nobody's going to really believe this besides those weirdos that support you. And the funny thing is I go back to the people that sit there and say that they support, they're against victims and their families being re-victimized. And then they go in and support people like BJ who openly support Bullhorn Betty. Like, they're actively supporting Bullhorn Betty by supporting BJ because BJ's out there promoting BHB's fucking GoFundMe for her legal fees and saying shit like this. Like, say it ain't so. Are you guys all okay? No. The answer is fucking no. We're not okay. I think a lot of you have been skipping your meds for a long time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, my members do. I said, fuck it. Let's all skip our meds today and see where it goes. We're playing Jumanji at this point. Fucking Risk. We're playing all of it. They thought we were playing Clue. Now, fuck, we just went to level Jumanji, Risk, Battleship. Next thing you know, she's going to be doing the old slogan, take a bite out of crime with Betty. She's going to be the new McGruff. Oh, no, that's going to be Dog. Fucking wild. All of this shit's wild. What are they doing and how are people buying this shit? Literally, no, I'm not even going to ask that again because the answer is no. You guys are not okay. You're not okay. This is that extremist fucking bullshit. Like the extremist of the extremist. And I'm sorry, but it's going to get fucking worse because people like her are emboldened. They think that they're just fucking... And it's not typical. This is not typical conservatives. Let's establish when we talk politics, this is nothing normal. These are wackadoodles that exist on all ends of the spectrum. She's a wackadoodle, period, point blank in the story. She's almost turning a little orange, though. Crazy shit. And she edited this and still said, yep, this is the take. I'm posting this shit. Thank you for allowing me to serve you. for years to come. She is definitely not a conservative. She gives conservatives a bad name. That is for sure. But anymore, like, it's so hard to tell what's what anymore because it has become these variations. Fucking insane. Don't forget tonight, Mal has a live stream coming up for going over and talking about the Maddie Kingsbury trial that just finalized and he was found guilty. Please join us over there. Mal, drop your link for me, please. Hey, Katie. Hey, Autumn, do your terms of service. Skip, Rhonda. Her goodbye speeches, right? I can't wait. Is she going to give us, Rhonda, if she gives us one on the 19th, I'm here for it. I'm going to play that shit on repeat. Hey, Brantley. Yes, Brantley. Totally. Yeah. She's a sovereign. Kyle says that all the time, that she pretends she's not, but she acts like she's one of those, whatever tries to fit her or suit her. She's not smart enough to even, well, most sovereign citizens just, but they at least know some of the bullshit that they can try to confuse with. She doesn't even know that. Hey, the cat lady. Katie, do you think I care? That's my daily thing out here. Nah, not gonna care about people's feelings today or tomorrow. It's her goodbye, I'm going to jail video. Do you guys think that she's in Tennessee? She's a rhino. That's what she said. Yeah, she's a rhino. Yes, we got it. There's Mal's link if you would like to. You guys think she is in Tennessee? For the ride? Is that why she's kept it on the low down? Has she said she was going? I think she is too. I think she's in Tennessee. I think there's potential. I don't know for sure. Of course, I don't have eyes on her or anybody that's following her knows, but do leaves change color in Florida? Good question, Tebow. I don't know. I've never been to Florida. She did mention going there on the 8th. Well, tomorrow is that ride. Look at the trees. That's what I said too, Cammie, but looks like Tennessee trees in her background. I'm not familiar with the landscape of Tennessee or Florida, so. You don't smell her yet? Well, I hope you can't. Stella, that's probably, again, because of the optics. There's a bike ride or a ride for Sebastian tomorrow, yes. Yeah, the team, when I started, we called that into question the other day of like, is this still going on? Because they were really promoting this heavily for a while there. Now, the team started promoting it and reminding people last night. Mr. and Mrs. E's went over it. Could be anywhere, yeah. How can you cheer on sending someone to literal jail when you know damn well no one harassed anyone? Oh, Celsius, are you butthurt? Are you booty tickled today? Beddy actually, according to the law, was found to be harassing them. That's why the judge granted a permanent 1-year restraining order. That's not my laws. That's what the judge in Tennessee, Sumner County, decided. You have a problem with it, right to them. Or you could make veiled threats like Beddy does to the judge's grandchildren. I'm sure that would work well for you too. And if you need to call the complaint line, it's 1-99999. Get fucked. Sure, not her backyard. No, I have not checked. Kenna, I am really behind on emails. Yeah, shit, if you're booty tickled, I mean, get a feather, stick it down your crack. Have a good time. Whatever you want to do. I don't make the rules. The judge ordered that shit. I don't know if she's going to jail or not. I don't get no say in that shit. I don't live in Tennessee. But if I did, I would be right there watching it go down. Trust and believe that would, Yep, for that I would tune in. I would drive and sit front row to watch that happen. Somebody stupid enough to threaten and make a veiled threat at judge's grandchildren? Yeah, I mean. Celsius, yes, I've actually said that if what he claims is true. Again, there's been no video evidence of anybody keeping him under surveillance, following him. There's been no factual things to prove that. They've said that. So if there was proof like Beddy did recording herself, if there was proof to back up their claims, 100% he should have gotten ROs, which they claimed in their exhibits, along with the frivolous filing in Tennessee. that they had proof and that they had filed for an injunction on Clue and Barbecue Lady. The funny thing is that they never filed for those in the court, though. They drew up the papers and none of them are even signed. That's in the exhibits. So if they had proof of these claims, why didn't they actually file them and get restraining orders? I actually encouraged that a long time ago. If Seth can prove that he has had these things done, absolutely. Absolutely. But just like Chris and Katie, he's going to have to prove with evidence. Oh, it's frivolous in my opinion, because they're using the father of a missing child to push another narrative that isn't about the missing child, because if you look at the exhibits in the filing, they don't match up at all. So there's that. But it's in the hands of the court now. They'll figure that out. Again, not up for me. I can call it whatever I want. I can call it a fucked filing. I can call it a fuck around and find out filing. I can call it a idiocracy filing. When you have exhibits in there that claim that somebody is outside your house, like a peeping Tom would be, they have ring camera footage of all these things, you know, hung. You have all that, but you don't even have a police report. You're in fear for your safety, but you don't even file a police report, but you put it in a filing that has nothing to do. Or you have people like Aunt Burrito, you know, making declarations for you that have nothing to do with the defendants in this case. Nothing to do with them. But in paragraph 2, she says that she's home alone when she got the knock on the door. And then in paragraph 4, you know, 2, 3, 4. Following me, Celsius? 2, 3, 4. In paragraph 4, she claims that her adult child was with her and actually spoke to this too. So, I mean, when you have paragraph 2 to 4 that are contradictions and declarations submitted to the court, you kind of got a fuckery going on. But we handle facts, not speculation or wild theories or conspiracy theories, or we all ran out of tinfoil a long time ago. If it's about free speech, like Granny and BHB GoFundMe both claim, how can you call one out on not the other? First of all, Granny doesn't have a GoFundMe, so factually you're incorrect there. That got taken down. BHB's GoFundMe is in another person's name because she doesn't want it taken down. They can say whatever they want to about this. They're being accused, Granny and Barbecue, of interfering with the search for a missing child because of the statements. In fact, hold on. Let me tell you what the pen recorder says. Let me tell you what it says. Hold on. Let me grab my phone. Give me a second. Don't hurry off, Celsius. Give me a second. I'll read it to you. I think I can read today. Maybe. I might struggle. Chances are I'll probably struggle. Hey, PA, Dog the Bounty Hunter comes to Delco for a wild lawsuit over search for missing teen, plus 4 other new cases. Philadelphia, written by John O'Brien on October 25th, 2024. Online slander, institutional racism, and a Philadelphia power trip are among the accusations in 5 recently filed lawsuits in Pennsylvania. And then it goes, At Night Media versus Barbecue and Granny, Delaware County Court of Common Pleas, October 18th. Dwayne Chapman, also known as Dog the Bounty Hunter, and several individuals involved in the missing person case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers bring racketeering and cyberbullying claims against the defendants in an 83-page complaint. Rogers, 15 years old, went missing in Hendersonville, Tennessee in February and has yet to be found. His father, Seth, is among the plaintiffs in the case. The suit claims Seth's ex-wife and her husband, plus some so-called content creators, have a goal of destroying the lives of anyone who dares to search for answers to help locate the missing child. Celsius, here's where you want. Pay attention. The two defendants, Barbecue and Granny, live in Pennsylvania. Barbecue is accused of interfering with the investigation and using GoFundMe campaigns to deceive the public. Granny uses social media to twist Seth Rogers' words during interviews to make him seem insincere, the suit says. There are plenty of other accusations in the lengthy complaint, which can be read here. You can click that link if you would like to. So this article, I think, kind of tells you and breaks it down for you. But where's the racketeering? And Beddy's has never been about freedom of speech. Never. Never. Beddy's is about stalking, harassing. Her GoFundMe is to get an appeals attorney to fight her ROs. Yeah. Yep. Anywho, I'm out of here. That was longer than I expected. I hope you guys all have a great day. Keep your tinfoil hats on because you're going to need them. Kudos for the people who don't hate bonds, KB. Kudos to the people that have backbones, that don't have to be weirdos and essentially support Beddy as she's stalking and harassing a family because they dislike somebody else, you know. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. I might see you guys over the weekend. I'm not really sure yet, depending on how I feel, but I will have a full breakdown of the newest pieces of the filing, Nick's words, clips included in there, and we'll go from there. Stay safe out there. I'm going to go see if I can find me a helmet like that sheriff was wearing because I need to up my helmet game, and that looked legit to go on podcasts and wear. Like, I think I should just channel my inner him, channel my inner, yeah, that was a legit helmet. It looked like he even had a light on the side. I can see me sitting here talking to you guys with that type of helmet on. Kyle's motorbike helmets are a thing of the past. I need one of those. If he can wear them on podcasts, why can't I? It's the cool thing to do, right? Stay safe out there, you guys. Bye.